Hello everyone, today we will talk about the transit of Saturn. Transiting Saturn is in Quincunx with natal Pluto. How transiting Saturn will behave in Quincunx with natal Pluto depends on the position of natal Pluto. This transit may be more prominent in your life if you already have planets in aspect to your natal Pluto. But the basics are as follows. When transiting Saturn is in Quincunx with natal Pluto, we get a turning point or a limitation of your power through authority. Such a transit gives you a feeling of considerable discomfort and anxiety, because these two planets simply do not understand each other, and have nothing in common. Energies don't blend easily, so it's like having two parts of you pulling in different directions. Saturn wants structure, order, rules, and slower work with the public and constant progress. Pluto, on the other hand, is prone to transformation, deep change, removing what is toxic or unnecessary and facing what is hidden. When they make this weird 150-degree angle, you'll suddenly find yourself stuck between wanting to control everything and feeling like things are moving under your feet anyway, like trying to be responsible and maintain what you've built, and you know you have old systems and structures in your life that need a complete overhaul. An ideal example is renovating your house while you're living in it. Saturn will whisper about what to keep, but again, you can't forcefully insist that things continue as they were. It is best not to try to force big changes in your life now, because this transit carries power struggles and hidden resistance, and therefore requires self-evaluation. Examine which beliefs, behaviors, or personality patterns actually serve you, and which are dead weight. This is a period for serious work, deep research, and true learning, and you must not respond by acting unethically, illegally, or ruthlessly, because if you do, the tension will metastasize into a full-blown crisis. So, look at old habits and see which ones are holding you back, and try to face your fears, even those that you usually ignore. Likewise, if you are willing to do the work of Sisyphus and rebuild the foundations, in such a way that you begin to reshape the major parts of your life so that they are actually in line with who you were, to keep the traditional attitude and yet to put on new clothes. The process is not fast, the culmination lasts about 7 days, but the complete impact is up to 2 months. Ultimately, if you adapt properly and meet these challenges, the rewards are significant. Improved financial stability, deeper and more meaningful relationships, and a stronger sense of self are just some of the potential benefits. So the whole process has a very solid growth. As we have already stated, transiting Saturn in Quincunx to natal Pluto gives a desire to preserve tradition and framework in the face of growing tension that leads you towards transformation. The transit itself invites you to change or restore certain things, but you still feel an obligation to stick to the past. Like an old table that requires transformation but in a restored style. Due to the Quincunx, an extremely large adjustment is required, so try not to bury your feelings or ignore stress, and do not completely resist change, but also do not rush into transformations just because you feel uncomfortable. Let things develop at their own pace. Practice patience, because Saturn's lessons seem difficult, but they are there to help you become stronger. Frustratingly, these two powerful planets can't seem to agree on a timeline or method. But what is crucial and signals this period of transformation are areas of shared resources, intimacy, and emotional connections. But although the transit often draws attention to financial matters, especially those related to debts, inheritances, and joint finances, Saturn will encourage individuals to face their fears, establish healthy boundaries, and take responsibility for their financial obligations. Because of the Quincunx, it is better to avoid making new and risky financial decisions or large investments, because there will certainly be unprecedented complications. You prefer to do things you are already familiar with slowly and steadily. Although you won't see progress right away, small changes lead to big results later on. Saturn's position will require greater adaptation to a structured approach to managing shared resources and greater adaptation to financial responsibility. This means dealing with loans, taxes, or inheritance in a more disciplined way, that is, reviewing and ensuring that both parties contribute equally and fairly. On the other hand, do not neglect your health, especially if you feel exhausted or under pressure. Saturn will make minor problems more difficult if you have health problems before. In that case, structuring and accepting greater responsibility will relate to your health problem. The fear of death that causes individuals to feel increased anxiety is not desirable. Rather, thinking about death and dying will manifest either personally or through the experiences of those around you, encouraging facing fears as vulnerability. Therefore, health problems and illness will force you to reconsider your life priorities, and let go of past attachments and accept traditional natural values and methods of treatment. Ultimately, although the quincunx is very difficult to implement due to overadjustment and in most cases one side prevails and we get disaster and failure, it often leads to deep insights and a deeper understanding of oneself and one's relationships with others. Therefore, change yourself, because it is more accessible than trying to change someone or fighting authority. Admit your weaknesses or mistakes and make the necessary adjustments, because this is a time of compromise and cooperation, forgiveness, and understanding.